Do you know the four main types of access control models, including a new type that has been gaining popularity lately? Well, keep watching and you will. I'm Jorge Ramirez with Safe and Sound Security, the place where professionals turn for security system information and solutions. Today, we're going to talk about the four main types of access control models. When you own a business, it's important for you to be able to grant access at different levels to different people in your organization. Access control models are an invaluable method of gatekeeping for organizations of all sizes and backgrounds. The four types of access control models allow you to control everyone's access, and each type of system has its own pros and cons. Today, we're going to provide an overview of the four main types so you can make an informed decision for your business. Keep watching to learn more. Here are the four most common access control models: mandatory access control, discretionary access control, role-based access control, and rules-based access control. The first type, mandatory access control, is the most restrictive form of the four access control models. It gives control and management of the system and access points to only the system owner or administrator. End users and employees have no control over permissions or access and can only access the points granted to them by the system owner. Even the owner is restricted by the system's parameters, which are programmed as such and cannot be circumvented. All users are classified and labeled according to their permissions, and they receive permissions to enter, access, and exit certain points according only to their specified classification level. If the system owner wishes to grant higher level access to a user, they usually need to create a new profile and credential for that user. Their previous classification cannot be given any permissions not already specified in their profile. This type of access control is most beneficial for facilities and organizations where maximum security and restriction are required, such as military and government facilities. It's also used in corporations where security and secrecy are highly valued. The next type of access control model is discretionary access control, and it's the least restricted of the four methods. It allows the owner or administrator of the system complete control over who has access and permissions throughout the system. It often runs off common operating systems, such as Windows, and is generally easy to configure and control. One main benefit of discretionary access control is that the administrator can easily and quickly configure permissions, deciding who gets in, when, and where. A downside, however, is that this often gives too much authority to the administrator of the list. There is a potential for them to pass access onto inappropriate users. It also leaves the system vulnerable to malware, such as Trojan horses, which can infiltrate the system without the user's knowledge. Role-based access control is the third traditional type of control, and it's one of the most popular. It's sometimes referred to as RBAC, or non-discretionary access control. RBAC assigns permission based on the position or role a user holds within the organization, and these predefined roles hold the appropriate permissions. For example, if a user is classified as a project engineer, they will automatically receive the permissions entitled to all project engineers within the system. The benefit to this access control model is that it is quite simple to set up and use, especially for the system owner or administrator, who simply has to set up predefined roles with appropriate permissions. A drawback, however, is that if a user needs permissions they do not have, the administrator needs to grant them permission outside their predefined role. Depending on the case, this may or may not be possible. RBAC is a great option for cloud-based access control systems where the rules and permissions between users tend to be more dynamic. The final type of access control is the one I teased at the beginning that has been gaining popularity lately: rule-based access control. Rule-based access control allows system owners and administrators to set rules and limitations on permissions as needed. For example, they might restrict access during certain times of day, require a user to be in a certain location, or limit access based on the device being used. Permissions can even be determined based on the number of previous access attempts, last performed action, and required action. This access control model is good for enforcing accountability and controlling when and where employees have access to certain facilities. It's very beneficial because permissions and rules can be dynamic, allowing the system administrator to customize them for any number of situations and needs that may arise. Permissions can be determined in any combination of criteria, allowing for countless configurations for almost any number of unique situations. It's also great for multi-door access controls where users may be restricted regarding which doors they can access. Now that you know more about the different types of access control systems as well as their benefits and drawbacks, you should have a better idea of what type of system is best for your organization. If you'd like to browse some of our written content or have a security project you'd like to talk to us about, head over to getsafeandsound.com. And now, I'd like to turn it over to you. Do you have any comments or questions about access control models? Let me know by leaving a comment below right now.